Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The salty breeze of the Maldives whispered promises of serenity as Emily and I arrived at the luxurious beachfront resort, a supposed sanctuary to rekindle the embers of our marriage. Despite her recent infidelity, which gnawed at my heart like a persistent wound, we had decided on a vacation to patch the gaping holes in our relationship. As we walked through the elegant lobby, her hand felt hesitant in mine, its warmth a faint echo of our once fiery passion. "Isn't this place amazing?" Emily's voice broke through my reverie, her eyes lighting up as she took in the opulent surroundings. I forced a smile. "It's beautiful, yes. Hopefully, as relaxing as we hoped." My words masked the turmoil inside me. The idea was to enjoy each other's company, and perhaps find the path back to what we once had. Yet, her recent distance, the late-night whispers on the phone, kept playing in my mind like a somber melody. As the days unfolded under the tropical sun, Emily's behavior grew increasingly peculiar. She was often glued to her phone, smiling at text messages or stepping aside to take calls. My suspicions, never fully quelled, began to resurface like unwelcome guests. One sunny afternoon, while she thought I was engrossed in a novel by the pool, I watched her type a message, her face a mix of nervous excitement. "I'm going to book a spa appointment," she announced suddenly, barely looking up from her phone. "All right, enjoy," I replied, the seed of doubt planting itself deeper with her hurried tone. Curiosity got the better of me. I waited a few minutes, then trailed her from a distance as she meandered through the resort's lush gardens. Instead of heading towards the spa, she veered towards the parking lot. My heart pounded in my chest as I concealed myself behind a row of flowering hibiscus. There, under the shadow of swaying palms, I saw her meet the hotel receptionist, a young, athletic man who had checked us in. My throat tightened as I watched a scene one could never have prepared for. They talked briefly before he pulled her into an embrace, his hands boldly exploring her back. Emily responded with a fervor that she hadn't shown me in months. Her moans, muffled yet distinct, shattered the last vestiges of my trust. The sight was a visceral blow. I felt the ground shift under me as the implications of her betrayal sank in. Anger, sharp and bitter, flooded my senses. I stepped back, unseen, as a plan began to form in my mind. If Emily could shatter our vows with such reckless abandon, then I, too, could cast aside the gentleman I once was. The man who would have forgiven her anything was no more. Now, destruction seemed the only path forward. I would have to act, to strike back in a way that would leave her as broken as I felt at that moment. This vacation had turned from a hopeful retreat into the battleground of our broken marriage. As I walked back to our room alone, the ocean roared like an accomplice to my brewing storm. The game had changed, and so had I. Emily's deceit would not go unchallenged. The next morning dawns clear and bright, a mocking contrast to the storm brewing in my heart. I decide to confront Emily, but not before securing an ally in this treacherous game. After breakfast, I approach the bar, where a man I recognize as one of the senior managers of the resort is supervising the arrangement of chairs and tables for the day. "Excuse me," I start, extending a hand. "I'm Mark Stevenson. I couldn't help but notice how well things are run here." The man, a tall figure with a keen eye, shakes my hand firmly. "Thank you, sir. I'm Lucas. Anything specific you need?" "Actually, yes." I glance around to ensure no prying ears are near. "I need some discreet assistance. It's a personal matter." Lucas's eyes narrow, sensing the seriousness of my tone. "Let's talk in my office." In the privacy of his Spartan office, I lay out the bare bones of my situation without revealing too much. Lucas listens, his expression unreadable. When I finish, he leans back in his chair, his fingers tented. "Mr. Stevenson, while I sympathize, I must ask, what exactly do you need from me?" "I need information. Who is this receptionist? Has he been involved in anything similar before?" Lucas nods slowly. "I can look into it. But keep in mind, my first responsibility is to the safety and privacy of our guests and staff." "Understood," I reply, my mind racing with possibilities. Leaving Lucas's office, I spot Emily by the pool, her laughter reaching me before I see her. She's chatting animatedly with a couple I recognize from dinner the previous night, Jack and Mia Thompson. Her ease and smiles, so freely given to others yet so sparingly shared with me lately, fuel my resolve. I join them, sliding into the conversation with a strained smile. Having a good time, I see. Mark, yes, these are the Thompsons. We were just talking about going on a snorkeling trip together. Wouldn't that be fun? Emily's enthusiasm seems genuine, but I can only nod. Jack, a burly man with a booming laugh, claps his hand on my shoulder. The more, the merrier, right? Absolutely, I force the words out. As we discuss the plans, my phone vibrates. A message from Lucas: meet me in 10. Important. Excusing myself, I meet Lucas near the docks. He looks unusually tense. I did some digging, he whispers. Your wife's friend, the receptionist. He's been warned before. Similar incidents, I thought you should know. Thanks, Lucas. This is helpful. My mind whirls with this new information. It could be the leverage I need. Returning to the group, I find Emily watching me, a trace of suspicion in her eyes. Is everything okay? Just work stuff, I lie smoothly. So, snorkeling? Let's do it. As we plan, I know each step forward with Emily is now part of a larger plan. Each smile, each touch is measured. But beneath the surface, like the waters we plan to explore, dark currents swirl. My alliance with Lucas is just the beginning. As we gear up for snorkeling, I'm not just diving into the ocean, I'm diving deeper into a dangerous game, one that promises either revival or ruin. The ocean's blue expanse stretches infinitely as our small group, equipped with snorkeling gear, prepares to plunge into the unknown. The clear waters beckon, but my mind swims with darker thoughts, tainted by betrayal and the looming taste of revenge. Emily adjusts her snorkel mask, her movements deft. Mark, are you sure you're up for this? There's a hint of concern, or is it suspicion? In her voice. Absolutely, I reply, keeping my tone light. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Jack and Mia are already heading towards the water, their laughter carrying over the waves. Emily follows, casting a glance back at me. I take a deep breath and dive into the cool embrace of the sea, the chill water serving as a temporary escape from my heated emotions. Underwater, the world transforms. Vibrant coral reefs teem with life, fish of all colors dart around us. For a fleeting moment, the beauty of it all almost makes me forget the pain of Emily's betrayal. Almost. We resurface and Emily is chatting with Mia, pointing at something in the distance. Jack swims up to me, his face split into a wide grin. Nothing like this back home, huh? He shouts over the sound of lapping waves. Not at all, I agree, forcing enthusiasm. Our snorkels bob in the water as we tread around. The moment feels almost normal, but the seed of deceit festers. As we make our way back to the boat, I lag behind, catching snippets of Emily's conversation with Mia. They're planning a dinner, her tone overly cheerful. It grates on me. Back on the boat, I keep my distance from Emily, watching as she laughs with our new friends. The image is a painful reminder of what we've lost, of the facade we're now maintaining. As the boat docks, Lucas's earlier words echo in my mind, fueling my resolve. I find Lucas at the bar later that afternoon. He's alone, cleaning glasses. Got a minute, I ask. He nods, glancing around before leaning in. What's up? I need more, I say bluntly. Anything you have on that receptionist or anything that can help. Lucas hesitates, then nods. I'll see what I can do. But be careful, Mark. This isn't just about getting even anymore. His warning hangs in the air as I leave, the weight of the impending confrontation growing heavier by the second. That evening, at dinner, the atmosphere is electric with the laughter and chatter of vacationers. Emily is radiant, her betrayal masked beneath layers of charm. She touches my arm occasionally, a gesture that once would have warmed me, but now feels cold. Jack raises his glass. To new friends and unforgettable vacations. We all toast, but my smile doesn't reach my eyes. I catch Emily watching me, her gaze probing. Later, as we walk back to our room, she slips her hand into mine. Mark, we need to talk, she begins, her voice soft. I stop, facing her under the dim light of the resort's lanterns. Yes, we do. Her eyes search mine, looking for the man she married. But that man is recalibrating his moves in a game sparked by her own deceit. "Whatever is going on, we can fix it," she whispers, hopeful yet nervous. "Can we?" My question hangs between us, loaded with the weight of unsaid words. As we stand there, the oceans roar in the distance. I realize the next moves I make will define the course of our shattered relationship. The game of deceit is deepening, and I am too far in to back out now. The tension between us crackles in the humid night air as we return to our room. Emily's attempts at conversation flutter down like the fallen leaves of the tropical trees, each one trodden underfoot with silent agreement that more than mere words were broken between us. Inside, the room feels smaller, constrictive, a stark reflection of the distance that has grown between us. Emily faces the ocean view, her back to me, shoulders tense. "Mark, whatever you think I've done," she starts, her voice trembling slightly. I cut her off, stepping closer. "I saw you, Emily." With him, my voice is steady, revealing nothing of the chaotic fury still battling within me. She turns sharply, her face a mix of shock and fear. "It's not what you think, Mark. Please." Her plea hangs in the air, fraught with desperation and something else, something akin to honesty. It gives me pause. Is there more to this than I've seen? Before I can press further, there's a knock on the door. I open it to find Lucas, his usual composed self slightly ruffled. "Mr. Stevenson, we need to talk. It's urgent." We step outside, leaving a bewildered Emily behind. Lucas leads me away from the room, his voice low. "The receptionist, he's gone missing, last seen a few hours ago, and there's something you need to see." He hands me a phone retrieved from the receptionist's locker. On it, a string of messages not only to Emily but several other women, detailing planned rendezvous. My stomach churns, the implications dawning on me. He was manipulating her, wasn't he? I ask, the pieces falling into place. Lucas nods grimly. "Seems like it. And there's more. He was about to be fired for inappropriate behavior. He found out and disappeared." We return to the room, where Emily is waiting, her eyes red. "Mark, I was trying to find out who he really was. After what happened between us, I wanted to prove to you that I could be trusted again. He started texting me, but it felt wrong. I was going to tell you everything tonight." Her confession hits me harder than I expect. All this time, her secrecy was not infidelity but an attempt to protect us, twisted as the approach was. The air clears as she speaks, her sincerity shining through her tear-filled eyes. Lucas's presence, a silent affirmation of her words, adds weight to her explanation. "Emily, I start, the anger dissipating, replaced by a resurgence of the old, familiar ache for the woman I loved." "I know I should have told you sooner," she says, moving closer. "I thought I could handle it, fix it before it got to this. I'm sorry, Mark." We stand there, the gap between us both physical and emotional, slowly closing as the truth sets in. Forgiveness feels distant, but not unreachable. The next day, as the sun casts golden streaks across the sky, Lucas informs us that the receptionist was found in a nearby town, trying to leave the island with stolen money. His arrest closes one chapter, but ours is still being written. In the last hours of our trip, Emily and I sit by the shore, the waves lapping at our feet. Words are scarce, but the shared silence speaks volumes. We have much to rebuild, but the foundation is there, weathered by storms yet still standing. As we board the plane home, Emily leans her head on my shoulder. It's a small gesture, laden with the weight of 1,000 promises. The journey back isn't just a return to where we came from, but a step towards something new, a future uncertain but hopeful. The plane takes off, and as I watch the island shrink beneath us, I realize that sometimes the deepest betrayals can lead to the hardest truths, and in those truths we find the strength to forgive, to rebuild, and perhaps to love again.